Let's get straight to the point. A budget deficit is when the government spends more than it earns, just like spending Rs 110 when you only make Rs 100. To cover this gap, the government borrows money, creating a national IOU that grows every year. Most of this money goes to salaries, pensions, subsidies for food, fertilizer and fuel, and a big chunk to defense. We also pay hefty interest on old loans, sometimes borrowing just to pay interest, like using one credit card to pay off another. But not all spending is wasteful. Highways, bridges, schools and hospitals are built with these funds, supporting both today's needs and tomorrow's growth. The real challenge, balancing urgent needs with long-term investments, all while walking a fiscal tightrope. It's a high-stakes balancing act, and there's little room for error. India's deficit habit started after independence, when the government had to build everything from scratch. The state led the way, borrowing to fund massive 5-year plans and public sector growth. By the 1980s, spending outpaced tax revenue, leading to a crisis and near default in the late 80s. The 1991 reforms opened up the economy and brought some fiscal discipline, but the urge to overspend never vanished. Laws like the FRBM Act tried to rein in deficits, but every crisis, like the 2008 crash or COVID-19, led to more borrowing. Today, our combined government debt is close to 90% of GDP, a heavy burden. This isn't just about numbers. It's a warning. Good intentions, political pressures, and repeated crises have made borrowing a hard habit to break. Now we're at another crossroads. Can we finally change course? People say, but the US and Japan have bigger debts. But that's a misleading comparison. They borrow mostly in their own currencies from their own citizens and pay ultra-low interest rates. India, by contrast, pays much higher rates and relies more on foreign investors, who demand higher returns and worry about our stability. Developed countries have strong economies and efficient tax systems, making their debt less risky. India's narrow tax base and evolving institutions make our high deficit much riskier. A shock that's minor for the US could trigger a crisis here. So, comparing our deficit to theirs is like comparing apples to oranges. For us, high deficits mean vulnerability, not strength. We can't borrow endlessly. Responsibility is our only option. Why should you care about the deficit? Because it hits your wallet. When the government borrows heavily, interest rates rise, making loans for homes, cars, and businesses more expensive. This crowds out private investment, slowing job growth. If borrowing isn't enough, the government may print money, fueling inflation and making your salary buy less. High debt also means less money for schools, hospitals, and development. More goes to paying interest. A big deficit weakens the rupee, raises import prices, and drains our foreign reserves. In a crisis, we risk losing control to global lenders, with the poor suffering most. The deficit isn't just a government problem. It affects every Indian's future. What's being done? The government is improving tax collection, rolling out GST and selling stakes in public companies. Subsidies are being targeted more carefully, but progress is slow and politically tough. The challenge: cut waste without hurting the poor and raise taxes without stifling growth. We need strict fiscal discipline, a wider tax net, and smarter investments that create jobs. The best fix? Grow the economy. More growth means more revenue and a lighter debt load. That means making business easier, boosting manufacturing and exporting more. Deficit spending can help in a crisis, but overuse is dangerous. India's economic future depends on breaking the borrowing habit and building real fiscal strength. Our sovereignty and our future are on the line.